Make sure you get your energy up before you deliver. If it means dancing or singing, repeating affirmations to yourself, I've got this, I'm amazing, people are going to be so appreciative of the value I'm about to give them. And then breathe. And then make sure you smile, because when we smile, it definitely elevates the voice and it gives us more energy.
Hey, I'm Lisa Hugo, and I am obsessed with helping other people find their voices so they can go out and take on the world, be seen as an authority, an expert, and grow their business by sharing that knowledge and expertise with others. Now, I studied performing arts and I spent 20 years of my career traveling the world as a professional singer-songwriter. I teach you the secrets to speak up and be heard, overcome your fears, and then use these skills to build a business and a life that you love and that could change both your own life and the lives of others. This is your one-stop shop for all things that are going to help you to build a life on your terms. This is Impact Through Voice.
Well, hey there, and welcome back to the Impact Through Voice podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Hugo, and if you're new here, welcome, my friend. You know, I'm thrilled you have found us, and to all of my regular listeners, well, thank you for coming back again and again. I know you have plenty of other options for podcasts, so it really does mean the world to me that you chose to spend your time here. And today, I want to dive into a topic that many online entrepreneurs struggle with, and that's selling. Whether it's your courses, your memberships, your masterminds, or coaching, selling anything online can feel like it's an uphill battle, especially in the beginning. Now, one common challenge that I see is the reliance on having just a sales page alone, thinking that's enough to drive sales. Now, don't get me wrong, because sales pages are powerful tools. And when they're done well, they showcase your brand's personality and they guide potential customers towards solutions that can change their lives. But here's the catch. Even the best sales pages can leave people feeling uninspired to take an action. And why? What's missing? It's that personal touch. So how do we bring that personal touch into our online businesses? Well, the answer is simple. A well-crafted webinar. I like to think of a webinar as a tool, one that blends marketing strategy with valuable content for your audience. It's not like a static sales page, because a webinar brings your message to life. It creates an engaging and interactive environment that can then build trust and it can build excitement. Now, over the years, I've seen a significant increase in course enrollments when people experience a webinar before being directed to my sales page. It's really like this magical combination. And it's not just me. Many of the entrepreneurs that I work with or worked alongside with, and they have six-figure launches with nothing more than a registration page for a webinar, a compelling presentation, and an email sequence. So the secret is the webinar. But I think sometimes webinars have got a bad rap because people just use them for selling and not offering value. And the webinar isn't just for selling. It's also an incredible tool for building your email list. Every time somebody signs up for your free webinar, they join your list. Doesn't matter if they buy or not. And even if they don't buy immediately, well, then they're more likely to purchase the next time you launch. So today, I'm going to share some of my best strategies for creating and executing a webinar that is both valuable and it's profitable. And to help you take action, well, I've put together a free guide called My Webinar Blueprint. It's a step-by-step guide to webinars that convert. So if you want to get that guide, just check the show notes below for the link and it's yours for free. So when I host a webinar, my goal is always to leave people feeling excited, inspired, ready to take that next step. It doesn't matter if they buy or not. That's the mindset that really will make all the difference. So I'm really excited about this episode because webinars have been a game changer for me. They've pushed me to grow as an entrepreneur. They've built resilience and confidence all along the way. Yes, I've had some horrible tech challenges and I've had really small audiences at first, but I kept going and the rewards from using webinars have been incredible in my business. So are you ready to prepare and deliver a high converting webinar and build your confidence in the process? Remember, webinars can be live or they can be recorded. But I believe everyone should experience the energy of being able to deliver a webinar live, showing up and interacting with your audience and offering them immense value. So my journey with webinars started back in 2020 when the world went into lockdown, when the world all went online. My very first live webinar sold my Voice of Success Masterclass program for $497. And then 4 people bought it on that webinar. So that was $2,000 from one 1-hour webinar. Well, I was hooked. And since then, I have created multiple programs and I teach others how to do the same in my Expert Launch program. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you'll know where I'm going with this. The first and crucial step to webinar success is understanding your ideal customer avatar. You need to know who they are, what their pain points are, and what they truly desire before you even think about your webinar topic. I want you to reflect on why someone would want to attend your webinar. What challenges are they facing? What solutions are they looking for? You want to provide a solution in that webinar to their current problems, where they are right now, and offer a bridge to where they want to be. So I want you to brainstorm on this. How can you offer them value? Not fix their problems entirely, but make them more aware of the need for what you're selling. For example, you don't want to stop the itch. You want to make it itchier so they realize they need a solution, and that solution then is you. Now, we call this the wow, not the how. If you give them too much, they won't need you and they won't buy. So I want you to think of 3 points that can open their mind to the solution, get them excited about it, teach them a bit, and then give them just enough to feel like it's doable, but leave them unsure of how to implement it unless they get further guidance. So for my programs, during the webinar, I walk them through why they're stuck in their coaching business. I run through all the possible scenarios holding them back, and then I offer solid strategies to get them unstuck. And by the end of that webinar, whether they choose to work with me or not, they have a new understanding that they can then build on. So it doesn't matter if I'm speaking to my ideal customer avatar, my ICA, who wants to find their voice, or to a coach who wants to scale their business. So I have 2 ICAs. The strategy, however, is always the same when putting together that webinar. Now, wherever possible, then I'll also share case studies of people who have worked with me and achieved incredible results. And this then builds further trust and further excitement that I can help them too. So when it comes to making an offer at the end, it's crucial that what you share then aligns with the offer you plan to make. So if you're selling a program, that program must offer the solution to all the pain points that you highlighted during the webinar and provide then a complete path to their goals. And once you're aligned with what you'll offer and how you plan to inspire and excite them with your content, then you can come up with a title. Notice we don't create the title first. Well, that's by design because we need to be clear on everything else so that the title aligns with the pain points, the desires, and the solutions that you're offering in your webinar. So a title might go something like this: How to use XYZ to stop ABC without DEF. Okay, here's an example of one of mine. How to use a simple video ad and a mini webinar to bring in a flood of qualified clients who are eager to work with you without spending hours on social media. So their pain is not having enough clients and not having enough money while spending hours doing things in the business that don't bring in revenue. Here's another example. How to use your voice to build your brand, your authority, and your credibility and grow your business to multiple 6 figures. So here, their pain is that they don't use their voice effectively, so they don't build their authority and they can't grow their business. Now, webinars have two optional outcomes. You can directly sell on the webinar, or you can ask them to schedule a call to speak with you. So I've sold directly on webinars, and my first webinars were exactly that. I was selling directly on the webinar. But this generally works if you've got low to mid ticket programs. So that means anything from $300 to $2,000 is considered a low to mid ticket price range. And these could be sold directly on a webinar. And the most important thing to remember is the psychology behind selling. So it shouldn't be just about making a sale, but about genuinely getting your clients the results that they need. So in your offer, you need to make it clear that you're looking for people who are genuinely interested in transformation and they're willing to put in the work. You want to see them get the results that they desire. So making money has to be secondary. Of course, you're going to charge for your services, but in the minds of your prospects, they need to see that what you're selling is the solution to their problems. Now, how you deliver this solution, that's just the vehicle. And by that, I mean your membership site, your course material, and any bonuses that you offer. Well, they've got to be designed to get the results, not just be added bonuses for the sake of increasing the perceived value. Now, honestly, for me, I no longer sell directly on a webinar. I use what's called the no-sell webinar, and for two reasons. My programs are high ticket, and so to ask somebody to pay $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 or more on a webinar, well, they generally need to speak with a real person. So instead of a direct pitch to sell, I make a direct pitch to schedule a call with myself or with my team. So this extends the journey with them further, and then it builds even more trust, which increases the chances that they're going to decide to work with you. And it also gives you the opportunity to say, hey, I don't think this is the right course for you. Not everybody is going to be a good fit. And you have to enjoy working with the people in your program, especially if you have close contact with them and it's not just a self-guided program. Now, the last part of the webinar is your delivery. Once you have your webinar ready, your slides created, and you've refined what you're going to say, it's time to focus on your delivery. If you're boring, you're lacking energy, hey everybody, thank you so much for joining my webinar today. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Lisa Hugo. Your webinar will never convert. Hi everybody, so good you could make it to my webinar. Or if you've got a very soft-spoken voice, hi everybody, I'm so glad you could make it to my webinar today. Here's what I'm going to be teaching. It doesn't matter how great your content is. If you can't deliver it in a way that sounds confident, that's going to engage them, it's going to keep them interested, your webinar won't convert. People will drop off before you even get started, before you get to the end for sure. Now, sometimes we want people to drop off because that can be a sign that what you're teaching them isn't right for them. So the webinar acts as a gatekeeper to weed out those who aren't a good fit. But if people are dropping off because you're just not interesting and you're not engaging, then you have a problem. Especially if you're running paid ads to get them into that webinar, then you're completely wasting your money and you will never have success. So make sure you get your energy up before you deliver. If it means dancing or singing, repeating affirmations to yourself, I've got this, I'm amazing, people are going to be so appreciative of the value I'm about to give them. And then breathe. And then make sure you smile, because when we smile, it definitely elevates the voice and it gives us, more energy. So do whatever gets you excited and then make sure you focus on the immense value that you're about to share. Now, practice delivering that webinar as many times as you can, and you need to ensure that you sound interesting, you don't ah, you don't get stuck on your slides, and know what you're going to say. On webinars, you don't want to linger too long on one slide. They need to move quickly to keep people engaged. So know in advance what slide's coming next so that you can anticipate and you can keep the pace. Make sure also that your slides don't have too much information. remember, your slides should support you and your presentation, not serve as your script. Now, when it comes to the length of the webinar, when I first started, they generally ran for an hour to an hour and 20 minutes. But attention spans are now much shorter, so shorter webinars are generally performing better. You're going to find there's a drop-off at the 30 to 40 minute mark. So if you can start wrapping it up within 30 minutes, then you're likely to have more success than if you draw it out. And if you plan to do a Q&A at the end, it's a good idea to have a few questions prepared in advance so that you can keep that conversation going while you wait for the people to submit their questions. And if you're selling directly on the webinar, well, I think it's wise to include some Q&A session at the end. Like if you're doing a book a call webinar, then people get that chance to speak with you. So when you do a Q&A at the end, then people feel more confident buying if they've had a chance to ask some questions. And you can address then each question directly, making them then feel heard and understood even more. Okay, you've got your webinar. Now it's important that you track your webinar stats. You need to know how many people saw your opt-in page, how many people signed up, how many showed up, how many stayed until the end, how many dropped off, and at what point did they drop off. And if there's a big drop-off at one particular point, well, that can indicate something that you said or you did wrong, causing people to leave. So always monitor your stats. And then you can also use the recording to improve if you do find that there are drop-offs and find out why. Once your live event is over, or if it's a recorded event, then you can send them to a replay page with an email sequence. So that's a series of emails that will continue nurturing them and also sending them back to information that you've got or back to the webinar replay. There's always going to be people who miss the webinar, but they're still interested in watching it. And you can get a lot of sales or calls booked by sending people back to the webinar. Okay, that was a lot of information. So I'm going to wrap it up now, but I want to leave you with this. Webinars aren't just about selling. They're about making connections. They're a way to build genuine relationships with your audience, to build your trust, to increase your revenue, and make a bigger impact. So when you approach webinars with a mindset of service, then you're not just promoting a product. You're helping people to solve real problems and achieve their dreams. And that's where the webinars are magical. So I encourage you to go download my free guide, my webinar blueprint, a step-by-step guide to webinars that convert. You'll find the link in the show notes below. It's packed with everything you need to create your webinar that not only boosts your sales, but also builds trust with your audience in a meaningful way. I can't wait for you to create and deliver your own webinars, so be sure to let me know how they go. You can just reach out to me on my Instagram at Lisa Hugo Official. Thanks so much for connecting with me today, and I can't wait to see you soon. Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Impact Through Voice podcast. Now, if you've reached the end of this episode, then it means you're enjoying the podcast. So I have a quick favor to ask. If you haven't yet subscribed, please go and do it now and even leave us a review, because it really does help us so much to reach more people and impact more people. And I would be very, very grateful. Now, I love to read all of your comments about the show and what you're enjoying, what you would like to hear more of. So please take the time and go and do that now. When you do that, please take a screenshot and then tag me on Facebook or Instagram. That's Lisa Hugo Official. Now, I'm going to be sure to share your post, and I'm also going to private DM you with a thank you. And it also means you won't miss an episode. And as a subscriber, then you're going to get access to more content that we don't even open up to everybody. So thanks again. And until next time, keep on working towards your goals and making a positive impact on the world with your voice.